Well, welcome back to another episode at Tkachuk Immigration. We're welcoming another guest who came all the way from Alberta. So, Mike, please tell us more about yourself.
Thank you so much. Happy to be here. I'm Teacher Mike, known as Teacher Mike, but officially my name is Michel.
Oh.
When I came to Calgary, when I came to Canada, I changed my name to Mike because it was easier for everybody. And then eventually I started teaching English. I'm Teacher Mike, known as Teacher Mike. And basically, I'm the founder and teacher at ExpressPrep. All we do is we help immigrants become residents in Canada, and we do this by helping them get a good CELPIP score, and of course, by improving their English. So this is all I do. It's something I've been doing for around 9 years.
Wow.
And then ExpressPrep itself is about 4 years old.
You look so young. That's amazing. 9 years. How did you get into it?
So I started as soon as I moved to Canada. I was 19.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then that was the time where I already started teaching English as ESL as a second language. And then for a while, that's all I did. And then around 2020, I started noticing that CELPIP and IELTS were big and were a big thing for immigrants. And because I'm an immigrant myself, I thought, this is a good field to get into. And that's when I decided to start teaching CELPIP preparation specifically. So funny enough, I started with IELTS.
Yeah. Oh,
but then I had this one student. I still remember her name, Anna. She told me, Mike, I think I want to do CELPIP because somebody told me about it, and CELPIP was not popular at all.
Yeah.
This was in 2020 2020, and they didn't even have like the mock tests online. I had to go and have a book from them.
Yeah, like so everything was paper based.
Exactly,
Yeah.
It was a paper. The test itself was online, but the booklets and the way to learn about the test was a paper based booklet. So I got it, and I was like, CELPIP seemed to be more efficient.
Yeah.
And then I helped this student out, and she got an awesome score, better than IELTS. I was like, interesting. Nobody's teaching CELPIP.
CELPIP, yeah.
Yeah. And
it's
then
a good niche, yes.
Yeah. And then that's when I was like, okay, I'm going to go all in. And thankfully I did, because then it was a good way to position myself professionally. Yeah. And I kind of became the expert.
Yeah. You have a lot of followers, and I'm sure you have a lot of clients, and you help so many people. What would you say is the biggest struggle that people face when they're trying to get a good score in CELPIP?
So it is the same struggle that people face with CELPIP, IELTS, and any other test, which is relying too much on their English and underestimating the preparation required for the test itself. And it's really interesting because if you come from other backgrounds, usually you have those tests for university or like SAT, LSAT, or in Brazil, we have those admission tests for university as well. I'm sure there's something like this in Ukraine.
When I got to Canada, I was like no English, to be honest. Like I had I just said, no speak Canada, It was really hilarious. But when I finished, they put me back in high school.
Yeah.
And I had to go through TOEFL in order to get a better education.
There you go.
So in some ways, you can either go to college or in order to go to university or different programs, they require TOEFL or another test, right?
Exactly. So what's funny is that for most people, when they go through those tests in their lives, like SAT, LSATs, or admission exams that are not only English, they understand that they need preparation. Like people I think everybody understands, okay, if I'm going to law school and I need to do LSAT, I got to prepare for LSAT. If I'm going to another university and I need SAT, I need to prepare for SAT. But because English tests are kind of new in their lives, most of the times they're like, oh, I speak English, maybe I should just try it.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. The problem is relying too much on your English and not relying enough on the preparation required for the exam. So if you understand that you can prepare for the exam properly, you will notice that your score can be dramatically higher even if your English isn't the best. And that's the main thing that we do. Like we get students that are like desperate. They say, oh, Mike, I don't think I'll ever be able to get a 7. And we eventually go there and get 9s and 10s, not only because they have enough foundation in their English, but you don't have to be great.
I agree.
You just have to know how to do the test.
It's funny. I tell them you don't need to be great in English. You need to know how to pass the test.
Exactly.
So sometimes I remember I did my English exam for this license. So I remember the topic was crazy, like something about geology, which I was like, I didn't even listen. And they asked me questions like all science. And I'm like, I don't know the answer, and I just kept on talking.
Yeah.
That was the main thing, and I got like a pretty good result, which I was shocked.
Yeah.
So the point is, even reading.
So likely you did IELTS.
Yeah, I did. No, I actually did CALE, which is like a different test.
Sure. Yeah.
I heard it's easy and practical, and it's just accepted by my license at that time. But what I noticed, like I tell clients, like I'm not a specialist, but what I say, look for keywords. Look for something because it's all time matter, right? And I'm, for instance, not a fast reader. I read slow, and I like to take my time. So I feel like whenever you advise them, it's probably just go through like a key questions first, or I don't know your strategies, but like just to find the answers right away, because it's not about you reading the whole concept even, but just finding the right answer right away.
Yeah. So all of these tests, and that includes CALE, because CALE is just another version. A little bit more academic from the same company that does CELPIP.
Okay.
IELTS, PT, TOEFL, all of those tests, they're called standardized exams, right? That's the definition. By definition, a standardized exam needs to have a pattern.
Yeah.
Right? Do you understand the idea? Like by definition, if it's a standardized exam, it needs a pattern. Because if it doesn't have a pattern, it's not standard.
Yeah.
Right? Now, the cool thing about this is that if it is a standard and it has a pattern, understanding the pattern will help make it easier for you to solve. So one example, I think you noticed maybe intuitively, you were able to notice by yourself, which is, if I look for keywords, that helps me save time.
Yeah.
And that's one of the patterns of all of these, which is they have to use certain keywords to test for vocabulary.
Correct.
So it's the way that they test for vocabulary. They'll use, the word population in one part, and then they'll use the word citizens in another part. And you have to understand, okay, populations in this context is the same thing as citizens.
Yeah.
So understanding that tests will do this is one of the ways you improve your time management and then therefore your score. The extra step is understanding how each test does it, because each one does it a little bit differently, right? And then, of course, that's the whole thing I teach is like understanding, okay,
each pattern.
In this part of reading, this is what you need to do, and so on and so forth.
Going on the each ability, I actually noticed with my clients like a trend where they do better and where they are not so good.
Okay.
So writing seems to be like the hardest part for most of my clients. Like when I'm seeing results in like writing is like 5, 6, so versus like speaking could be 9, right? Okay. So what would you say like a little tip for the writing part?
So before I go into the tip, is just this is very specific to our clientele, first of all.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's very interesting because depending on the where they come from, they will have certain abilities and they have certain parts where it's harder for them. Yeah. So usually because you serve a certain amount of clients, you're noticing that pattern. But when I look at my data, reading is the hardest.
Really?
It's really interesting. Yeah. Okay. For sure, 100%. But going back to your tip. Writing. So the main thing that will help in writing, I'll give you 2 because those are the most important. Number 1 is understanding what structure should you use that will avoid most of the mistakes. So a big mistake is trying to come up with your own structure. Like, I think I should do an email like this because that's what I do at home. Yeah. This is not the best. So there isn't one structure that you have to follow, but at least you have to follow some structure that is always the same. So my students, they always learn like, okay, for email, we have intro, body, closing, and we'll always do 6 or 7 paragraphs. Like it is, if my student does 5 paragraphs, no, it's wrong. If they do 8 paragraphs, I tell them it's wrong. Like it's 6 or 7 paragraphs. That's it. So that's one of the things. And the other thing is identifying your most common mistakes because each person is a little bit different. Yeah. So I'll give you one from my Ukrainian students. You guys forget prepositions all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think in your native language, you don't use them so much, right? Or maybe they don't exist.
I'm not sure,
For example, I'm not sure.
Can you give me an example?
Like, for example, if you say, I have a car.
Okay. I have a car.
You just say, I have car.
I have car, yeah.
Correct. So
we don't have that.
You don't have that.
We just have that in the verb, so we just have like an ending helping us. Because in English language have
exactly.
It doesn't change to the specific, let's say, gender or something.
Yeah, perfect. So there you go. So this is articles and prepositions. Those are very interesting mistakes that people from Ukraine do. On the other hand, students from Brazil will have lots of trouble with verb tenses you know. So it's particular to what your native language. So because of this, there is no one solution fits all. But if you do enough writing, let's say you do 10 in a writing tests, you will notice which mistakes you do all the time.
I have one interesting question. So in order to improve in your CELPIP, how many hours a day you should practice?
I don't consider hours effective. I consider less than an hour. But the whole solution to this is having more time. The problem, which I'm sure you see this all the time with your practice, is people come to you and say, oh, okay, I need to get my PR, but my visa is expiring soon.
Yes, yeah.
And you're like, okay, well, I'm not sure if I can help you with that so much. Of course, you try your best, but in those situations, which happens to me all the time, then they only have 1 week, they only have 2 weeks, then yes. If you only have a week or two, we are going to have to put more hours into the day.
Yeah.
That's normal.
If it's like a tight deadline, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's okay. It's still possible.
Yeah.
But I've been doing this ExpressPrep itself, which is the current business that I own, which is the one that we put everything under this umbrella. This one is 4 years old, but I've been teaching CELPIP for longer. It's just the business itself is 4 years old.
Yeah.
When I look at how long it takes, the best timeline I've found is 4 weeks. 4 weeks of studying.
That's not too bad at all.
That's the best timeline for someone that understands English, knows a little bit here and there, maybe has tried CELPIP before and got a 6 or a 5. Like, we can go to a 9 in about 4 weeks. If you have no English, it takes longer.
I hope the listeners actually follow the advice and actually come to you, because this is impressive, to be honest.
Yeah,
4 weeks is a good positive timeline. Of course, everyone is different. It may take longer. But I think it's if you have your own experiences with clients that you helped, and that's a good outcome, for that.
Yeah. So, and then that's why, back to your question, is how many hours a day? In 4 weeks, you don't need hours a day. You need about 45 minutes, 30 minutes a day, but consistently.
Yeah.
Most people.
Consistency is the big thing.
Yeah. And then that's what I was going to say. Most people are like, okay, what if I do 4 hours in the weekend? I'm like, sure, you can do that. You just make things a little bit harder for yourself.
Yeah, I feel like even if it's just a weekend, you already forget things over the week.
That's what I would say.
I feel like a little bit every day, something in your headphones, just to practice every day, and repetition is the best teacher.
Yeah,
right?
And the way we structure our programs is we kind of give students things to do every day. Yeah. Of course, I'm not there at their home
to supervise. You cannot make them learn, right? It's even I feel like if you can be the best teacher, they have to have their own motivation to study.
But the motivation is pretty good, because at the end of the day, if you don't get the score, what else are you going to do?
100%. Yeah. Well, that's something that Canada is requiring, right? Yeah. So even right now in the current express entry system, I feel like the minimum minimal eligibility, which is let's say CLP 5, CLP 7 in certain categories, is not enough, right? So what I see personally is level 9 is pretty dramatically can change your score. Like when I'm looking at points breakdown in the express entry system, the level 9 is so much pushing your points. It can be from 430 to 470, or even from 480 to 500 and up. So that could be a different. How would you say how big is the difference between level 7 and level 9 in the real outcomes? How would you say how big is the gap for your students? Is it hard to get there?
No, not at all. So if a person is already getting a 7, going from a 7 to a 9, that's kind of the best student I have, right? That's the best. When we think about what student is the best one to come and get my help, the ones that are stuck at 7 and they need 9, those are the best, because from 7 to 9 we can, that timeline I gave you, the 4 weeks, that's the best timeline for them, because a lot of times the reason why they're getting 7 is, again, they are relying on their English, and they haven't gotten the right preparation just yet.
That's a good advice, because I have clients saying I can't do it. I did it 5 times.
Can do it.
It's only 7. I can't jump more than that. I think it's possible. Just need to have a proper a strategy.
Exactly,
right?
Because if you are doing the test over and over again, and you've done the test 5 times, you're probably not changing what you're doing. You're just doing it over and over again. Exactly. If you don't change what you're doing, you're not going to get different results. The most important thing is, if you got a 7 the first time, just think, okay, did I not prepare correctly? What can I do now? And then you go to the next step. And that's what we do. That's what we help. Now, it's very interesting because the difference it makes in the life of a student, it's crazy. I just had this meeting with one of our students this week, and her age, her birthday was like now, like April 10th or something. So this next few days. And
happy birthday to that person.
I think her name is, I'm trying to remember, Alana. Maybe she's watching. And she said if I didn't, she was able to get her CLB 10.
Okay, good.
And then she got the ITA like a week ago.
Amazing. And that's thanks to like English results, right?
Exactly. That's what I'm going to say. So she had a CLB 7 before, or 8.
Yeah.
And then from 8 to 10 was the difference for her to get ITA.
Yeah.
Now I asked her, okay, what if you had waited for your birthday? Yeah. And then she would have lost those points. And she said maybe it would be so much higher that I wouldn't be able to get ITA. So the difference between getting her PR or not was the preparation of CELPIP.
Correct.
There was nothing else.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the big difference.
So I think it's really important not to wait, because like a lot of people in Express Entry system, in the Express Entry pool, right? They are thinking, okay, my points are 480. Okay.
Let's just wait.
Let's just wait for the points. Even like I have clients with a 500, like 500, like 8 points. Mm-hmm. Let's just wait. I will wait till the score goes down. But changes are happening, and we even spoke recently about like new Express Entry system to be updated with like a new targets, right? Mm-hmm. So potentially like that, those changes may not happen overnight. It might happen in 2027. But use that time to maybe by knowing what you have right now in Express Entry system, what you can do, what strategies you can do, and if English language is one of the things you can improve, do it. Yeah. Exactly. I just want to bring up in the Express Entry system, as what we know right now, main applicant, yes, they can definitely study English and improve their score, but it's also spouse who can help out to bring a few points up. Mm-hmm. So if the spouse can do level 7, level 9, each ability will give like 3 points each, 5 points each. So it could be 4 points up to 12 points and so on. It can make a difference in the Express Entry system. Yeah. And transferability factors as well, like having a good experience in Canada and good English can bring up the points. Having overseas experience and good English also is really, really helpful. Mm-hmm. I think we brought up a little bit, but I want to talk about the difference between CELPIP and English. And actually, I wanted to bring up the PTE, the new one, right? Yeah. So what would you say is the difference between these tests? What is like easier? I know your more specialty is CELPIP, but do you find, let's say, PTE is like kind of a new, easier test to pass? And what's your opinion on that?
Yeah. So I've taught all of them, and I've helped people with all of them. And then the main reason why I stuck with CELPIP, there are two main reasons. Number one, it's because it's the one created for Canadian immigration.
Yeah.
So if you go back to the history of CELPIP, it was created at the University of British Columbia in BC. It became popular and it was then sold to an American company. So it's interesting because now it's owned by an American company. Wow. Now PTE is owned by a company, I believe, Australian or New Zealand. It's Pearson Education.
Yeah.
And IELTS is Cambridge. So it's from the UK. Now the main thing is, okay, CELPIP was created for Canadian immigration. So that's the number one thing. If you are immigrating to Canada, it would already make the most sense that you use the Canadian immigration one. Just for the context of, it's the one with the Canadian simple English. Yeah. It's the one, the skills that they're trying to see if you have. Yeah. And it was created in partnership with the government. So it kind of
makes sense
overall. Yeah. But when it comes down to scores, just out of experience, because I've helped so many people, I've just noticed that CELPIP, going back to what I told you before about the pattern and the standard, CELPIP is the one where it's the most predictable. Yeah. So IELTS has the problem with the speaking and the writing part. Okay. So the reading and listening of IELTS is fine. I'm good with it. Mm-hmm. The problem is the speaking and the writing, where you have, in the speaking, I'm not sure if you've done IELTS or but you have to talk to an examiner. Yeah. That creates a little bit of uncertainty in your test, where the examiner can react in certain ways to your answer that you were not prepared. Correct. So that creates a larger problem in terms of preparation. Mm-hmm. And writing, On IELTS, I have found to be a lot more. The best word
Academic,
would
maybe.
be rigid.
Oh, I see.
They're a lot more rigid in writing. So that's the reason in terms of IELTS and CELPIP. Another reason is that IELTS was originally paper based,
Mm-hmm.
and then when they translated it to computer, I find that CELPIP, because it was created initially in the computer, it's
Yeah.
just better. Now
Yeah.
PTE is good because they were created initially in the computer, so it works really well online. The downside of PTE is they use a lot of AI.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so parts of the PTE test aren't graded by humans.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I prefer CELPIP, because even though they do use AI, because
Yeah.
of course nowadays
Yeah.
they do, but they still have human reviews and they're very trustworthy. So the worst thing that can happen is you do a test and you're like, oh, I thought I would have gone better.
Yeah.
And then you don't know who to talk to because
it was like a computer
Exactly.
generated. Yeah.
So on CELPIP, if that happens, you do have the review possibility, but other than that, you have a human looking at all of your scores.
That's good to know. I didn't know that. AI can make mistakes a lot. It's not perfect at the moment. Maybe it will be better with time. But I love the human touch to the applications, to the reviews. Like
you have to, yeah.
Yeah, even the immigration system will be using more AI, and
Sure.
I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. And if there are mistakes on the review, it can be really difficult, right?
Yeah.
I also wanted to bring up the topic. There is really popular now strategy for express entry in general to come to Canada is the French language, right? I know that a lot of people, you mentioned to me before, like maybe I don't need to study English at all, French only, right? Because that's a new strategy. People prioritize the IRCC prioritizes French a lot. You need to get level 7. I have people with like totally different background from India, Philippines, struggling to study French, right? Would you say it's a good strategy to just simply concentrate on French or combination of French and English?
Well, this is a good question. I want to take this question back to you because I'm not the immigration consultant.
Of
But
course,
what
yeah.
I want to say is that you're asking the CELPIP coach if they should do CELPIP. My answer is of course they
yes.
should do CELPIP. But the way I look at this is that you have to really understand the strategy behind your profile, and that's what I see often with students. And just because I deal with so many students, I've seen this story over and over again.
Yeah.
Which is a student comes to me and say, oh, you know what, I'm going to do French for now. And a few months later, they come back and say, oh, you know what, it was really hard to learn French.
Yeah.
It takes me longer than I expected to. And English is quicker. So what I would say is, if your way to PR, if your pathway to PR is with French, then go for it, of course. Just consider the timeline. And the good news of CELPIP is that everyone that is watching this podcast, every one of my followers, every one of my students, they already speak English.
Yeah.
If you haven't improved your English score yet, there is no reason for you to try a new language.
Drop and
right?
Yeah.
So if you already speak French, you told me you have some clients that speak French already. That's great. Do the French score, get a good score, and then do English to
improve
your profile overall.
Yeah. I do agree with you 100% on the strategy because like I have clients, they're dropping English and start learning French. I'm just going to get level 7. If you have enough time, right? And depends on your case, but I feel it's good to improve your English first to like quicker. A certain level, especially level 9 and up from my experience. And then if you have enough time, study French. You know, your CELPIP results are valid for 2 years. Therefore, studying French could be an alternative if there's no other ways. Currently, for Francophone work permits, it's level 5 in French in speaking and listening, and for express entry targeted draw, it's level 7 in each. Also for Francophones or French speakers, I wanted to bring up French might not be enough for your case too, because basically when you're coming from overseas or you are overseas and you're applying for express entry or for work permit or you are in Canada and applying for PR later on, you may have a good score in French, which is good. You can get your permanent residency, but what if your age, your education are giving you lower score? You might be stuck in like below 400, 350, 320. So in order to improve it, you don't have to push, let's say, some Canadian experience, like work for 2 years, 3
Yeah.
years, maybe you can just consider, if you're bilingual or considering studying English, especially if you're outside Quebec, it's easier. You can just get level 5, level 7, which doable, and actually increase your score like to several more points, like 50 points more or so. So I think it's a good combination of English and French, right?
And
So-
it's about the speed in which you can improve your English. I think that's the most important thing. I get some students sometimes that they, as I told you before, they don't have enough length on their visa anymore. You know, their visa is expiring in 3 months.
Yeah.
The only thing you can do, like, you cannot get another job. You cannot change your field of work.
Yeah.
You cannot get a new diploma.
Yeah.
So what's the only thing you can do in 3 months that can improve your CELPIP points, your CRS points?
Yeah.
It's English. There's
English.
nothing else.
I also say, like, even if your work permit expires, there's ways to extend your stay, right? So let's say you can consider switching to a visitor record, right? For now, if you don't want to leave Canada and just like waiting for your score. So use that time on maintain status and you're on the visitor record.
Awesome.
Just you are not authorized to work, but you can push yourself into studying, right? And that will be a good time to just commit.
Prepare.
Yeah. And also, on the other hand, whenever you are deciding even to leave Canada and want to re-enter, also a good way to study English as well.
Yeah.
I know that some clients switching back to school, so that allows them to stay legally in Canada, and at the same time they study English, they study French. So while you are like 1-2 years in Canada for extra time, you can do that, right? So I have another question for you. Technically, I have clients coming to me and they say, well, my recent score was not good, but my previous one before that was much better. Which one to use? So from my perspective, technically you can use whichever test. So that's a big mistake some people think of, where they submit their express entry or use that test for any immigration reason, is that they use the recent one. Technically, you don't have to. You can use the previous one, the highest. And my question to you now, how often can you retake the test? Is there any limit, and how fast you can book a new one?
There are no limits. You can, I believe, then we would have to check online, but I believe just need to give CELPIP 48 hours, and then you can just book a new one. You don't even need to wait for your score.
Yeah.
You said, oh, this was horrible. You can just really wait 48 hours and book a new one. The question becomes is like, well, how many times do you want to do it, right?
Yeah.
We had this one student from Japan that before she joined us, she had done the test 10 times.
Wow, that's a lot, yeah.
So she joined us, and then on the 11th try, she got her score.
Nice.
So the question is, do you want to do the test how many times? You can do them indefinitely. You can just keep doing them until you get your score.
Yeah.
The question becomes is,
how many times you're willing to do it?
It's probably better to just prepare.
Yeah, right? 100%. And we've heard a lot in news that you can retake one ability, right? For immigration purposes, it's really important to hear you cannot have one test, let's say for CELPIP, and then go redo one ability and use those two different reports. You have to redo the new CELPIP or new IELTS in order to apply for immigration. For any other reasons, potentially non-immigration related, it could be accepted.
Exactly.
But have you had clients do it?
So I've had clients ask me about this because I mainly serve CELPIP nowadays. I've had clients ask me about IELTS. I find IELTS to do this, I don't like that they do this because they advertise this a lot. One skill retake.
Yeah.
And CELPIP doesn't advertise that. And the reason, I actually know the CELPIP team very well. I know many of them personally. And when I talked to them, I said, guys, like, can't we do this? Can't we advertise this? Because I wasn't aware. And they said, it's not allowed for immigration anyways.
Yeah.
And then when they told me that, I was like, oh, interesting. So IELTS advertise this, or maybe PTE, because they use their tests for many other things. And then clients from Canada and Australia that are trying to get their PR, they think, oh, CELPIP doesn't give me one skill retake. I should just do this in IELTS. And then the answer is you can't, because if you are using your test for immigration, you will always have to do a full test and get the score that you need in all of the parts.
That is correct. I can confirm that.
Yeah, and that's I learned that recently, like a
Yeah.
few months ago. I was
Yeah.
talking to the CELPIP team.
We had the clients asking, and we can confirm that it's not allowed, unfortunately. Maybe it will be a good thing, but in my opinion,
It would be good, to be honest.
yeah,
I find that immigration could allow that to happen,
yeah,
and it would also benefit CELPIP overall if
yeah,
they allowed it. The downside is that immigration doesn't allow it just yet, right?
just yet.
But that would be positive because sometimes, people are doing well on the test and they get nervous for some
Yeah.
reason, and just the reading that person needs. No,
Yeah.
kind of makes sense for them to just the reading.
Yeah.
So I as in the perspective of someone that helps people, I find that it would be beneficial.
Mm-hmm.
So it's up to immigration to solve it.
Exactly. Well, I hope
hopefully
they
someone is
consider
watching.
that. Yeah, I hope they consider that. For me personally, it's not even that different parts. It's just the time. It may take like so much,
Yeah,
so
3
long,
hours.
3 hours,
Yeah.
standing and like doing the test.
Yeah.
It's quite frustrating. You can get so tired.
It is, yeah, for sure. It's part of the training as well, is understanding how to manage the time. I talk to students all the time about this because that's a very common frustration. It's like, oh, like it's so difficult to focus for 3 hours.
Yeah.
So in the weeks prior to the exam, usually 2 weeks, I tell my students that they gotta detox their brain a little bit, like focus more, do more longer tests, so that when they go and they sit down, they feel more comfortable because it is a 3-hour exam.
It is a quite long exam, I would say. But on this note, I would like to maybe wrap up with like some rapid fire questions.
Go for it. Yeah.
So the goal is that you answer pretty quick.
I'll try my best.
So that's like a fun part of our podcast.
Yeah.
Okay. So CELPIP or IELTS?
CELPIP.
Hardest language ability out of 4?
Reading.
Biggest mistake student make?
Relying too much on their English and not enough on preparation.
Study daily or intensive crash course?
Both. Both can work, but daily.
Grammar or vocabulary? What matters more?
Vocabulary matters more.
Yeah, the more words, right? One tip to instantly improve score?
Know the test just as well as you know the palm of your hand. You have to know the test really well.
And what's underrated strategy?
An underrated strategy would be, let me think, that's a good question. I think probably learning time management for reading. Like that's the most important thing. Learning for reading, I think people forget that time management is the most important thing.
Yeah. And if you had to give the final advice for our listeners, what would you say?
Considering that all of your listeners probably are immigrants, right? Yeah. I'll say something I say to all of my students every time we start a program, a course, because we have students joining every month. I say the same thing in the first class. I say, be brave. I just say this. I started the lesson, say, hey guys, just remember to be brave. Because sometimes CELPIP or whatever, maybe a job or a certification or sometimes there's only one thing between them and whatever goal they want. So most of people watching, they're looking for their PR.
Yeah.
So if there's only one thing stopping you from the goal of your PR, whether that be CELPIP or a certification or French language, whatever it is, when things look difficult and are scary and you think maybe nothing's working, just remember to continue doing this step by step. Be brave to go through that, because at the end of the day, if you just continue doing it, you're going to get there, instead of giving up. Because a lot of people will give up because they're afraid or scared. So that's what I always like to tell my students at the beginning of every course. I say, hey guys, just be brave, because sometimes CELPIP is going to look scary.
Yeah.
But that might be the only thing stopping you from getting your PR. So just go for it.
I really love this advice. Don't give up, especially in these times when immigration policies are difficult, challenging. It's good to contact also specialists. If it's hard on your own, go find help. There's tutors, there's immigration consultants, lawyers who can help you to go through these challenges. So I thank you so much, Mike. And
thank you.
I want to say, if you want to get his information, we will include it in our channel. So contact him for any tutoring.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome.